Hi everyone, Mary here, and welcome to a new edition of Books and Cookies Book Talk. This is Kat. She's going to be helping me today. I thought I would talk a bit about some of the standalone books that have made an impression on me during last year. As a reader, I tend to lean more towards book series because I love the fact that a writer has all the space to develop a world, the characters, and everything. But I found myself lately reading a lot of standalone. First book I'm going to be talking about is Colleen Hoover's Maybe Someday. I cannot express the love I have for this book. It's simply put amazing. This is my first Colleen Hoover book. And I was so swept away by everything in this book, by the characters, by the plot, by everything. I just loved everything about it. Rich is a musician, and Sydney is his neighbor, and even though they haven't officially met, they have some sort of a date every night because he comes out of the balcony, out to his balcony to play his guitar, and Sydney is out there watching him and listening to him. Some events take place, and Sydney ends up living with him, and the events of the book unfold. The truth is, I expected a fluffy read. I expected something that would keep me busy, but not as much. And what I got in return were 5 hours of reading, a pile of tissues next to my bed, a really, really big craving for chocolate, and a new favorite writer. This lady here. She's amazing. She writes so well. Her writing is funny, it's witty, it doesn't have unnecessary drama that you may expect from a book like this. And it makes you just feel things, you know? It's very difficult to put into words what this book means. Special mention to the soundtrack that's comes as a companion. Songs are composed especially for this book, and after listening to them, I have to say that they are amazing, they are perfect. It's been months since I read the book, and I still listen to the songs. I still want to reread this book. The second book I'm talking about today is The Sky So Heavy by Claire Zorn. This is a book that not many people have heard about. And that actually makes me a very sad panda because this is freaking amazing. It's not a horror novel, it's a young adult book, a dystopian one, but it has scared me a lot more than any horror novel. Basically, a nuclear test goes wrong, and the world is thrown into a nuclear winter. The sun is clouded, the temperatures drop, the food grows scarce, and everything is told through the eyes of Finn, who is a 17-year-old boy who is forced to take care of his 12-year-old brother and to find their parents. This is not a supernatural book. It's not far-fetched. What happened here could actually happen in real life, which is why this book is so scary. I had a constant feeling of unease, and I felt it deep in my gut while reading it. And I constantly asked myself, could I survive something like this? What would I do? Who would I trust? It's very thought-provoking, and the writer really manages to capture that sense of despair, of desolation, of fear that accompanies you throughout the book. And you see people resort to violence, people who maybe yesterday wouldn't hurt a fly, but today they have a gun pointed at your head and they're asking you for food. Even more difficult to read because we see everything through Finn's eyes, and Finn is not an adult, he's a kid, he's only 17. And he's forced into this kind of situation with absolutely no adult supervision or guidance. And he's a kid who has no one to trust but himself. It's a story of humanity, it's a story of survival, and it's a story everyone should read. Please pick up this book, please. The next book I'm talking about is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. This is actually her debut novel. Most of you probably have heard about her because she penned Gone Girl, which is huge right now. But this is an exceptional book. It's raw, it's gritty, it's uncomfortable at times, but it's so extremely well written. It's just wow. I have no words, seriously. I devoured it in like 2 days, maybe even less. The story of Camille, who's a journalist and who is forced to return to her hometown on an assignment given by her boss. to document the disappearance and later murder of a kid, a girl. And this is believed to be the work of a serial killer. In order to try and crack the case, she's forced to deal with her own demons and to deal with her family, which is apparently very closely connected to the case. The main thing that I kept thinking while reading this book was a big what the fuck is going on, because it deals with so many heavy subjects, ranging from eating disorders to self-harm to murder to drug and alcohol abuse. So definitely it's not a book for the faint of heart, and especially if you're triggered by anything that I've mentioned, you just skip it. It's not for you. If you're looking for a thriller, if you're looking for something that is different, definitely pick up this book. The characters are all kinds of messed up, which was actually quite a nice change for me, because I'm used to characters who I can relate to, and this was definitely not the case. It's also a very good study on the psychology of small communities, because as you know, on the surface everything looks perfect, but if you dare to look a bit underneath, you're going to find a can of worms that it's just bursting open. I don't know, it's haunting, it's unforgettable, and it most definitely doesn't leave you with a happy feeling in your heart, but I think it's worth it. I really, really do. The next book is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. It has teeny tiny writing, but please do not let this prevent you from picking up this book, because it's fucking unbelievable. The future, and most of the resources have been depleted. They're gone, everything. And almost all humanity is logged into a virtual reality game called Oasis. The creator of the game dies, but leaves his fortune up for grabs to anyone who can solve a quest made up of 3 riddles. Naturally, everyone scrambles to get in on it, but after several years, nobody has managed to do anything. When an 18-year-old boy manages to solve the first clue, and he now is thrown into the game, and he has to scramble in order to manage to finish the quest before he ends up dead. It sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Well, it is. It's so gripping, it's unbelievably written, it has gripped me so fast, and I devoured the book. In spite of the teeny tiny writing, okay? This is basically like a holy grail for people who enjoy gaming and people who are 80s junkies. It's filled with references, so keep in mind when you're reading it, but it can be extremely enjoyable even to people who are not into these kinds of things. It's funny, it's dramatic, it makes you think, and it's really so much fun to read. You're practically reading about people going on a quest and having adventures. You become invested in the quest the same as the characters, and you actually, once you see the kind of things that the creator of the game puts these people through, you're going to want to see what the end game is and what the outcome of everything is going to be. It's very much a plot-driven book, but it delivers, so pick it up. Last but not least, Stolen by Lucy Christopher. This is the most powerful book that I have read in a really long time. It left me with a lot of conflicting emotions, with a lot of questions, and it actually made me really think about what kind of person I am. And it left me with a book hangover for months after I finished it. It tells the story of Gemma, who is a 16-year-old girl traveling with her parents on vacation, and they stop at the airport. And she starts talking to a stranger, a guy, who later drugs her drink and kidnaps her and takes her into the vast and really, really empty Australian desert. The book is written in the form of a letter from Gemma to Tai, her captor. What mainly went through my mind while reading this was the question, what would I do if I were her? What would I do if something like this had happened to me? Would I try to escape? Would I try to reason with him? Would I try to, I don't know, try to alert anyone. It's very thought-provoking. It has a sort of power. It shows the power of relationships and how strong they can be, even when they're forged under not the most ideal circumstances. It's quite hard to write a compelling book using only 2 characters, but this writer manages to do this so beautifully. It's a wonderful book. It will leave you with confusing feelings. And it's been months and I still can make sense of it. So please pick it up, but be prepared for something really, really powerful. Okay, so this was it. I hope this has been fun for you guys. I hope that I have convinced you to read these books because they are awesome. I might do a second part because there are a lot of standalones that I have enjoyed reading lately. But we'll see. It depends on the response that this gets. As always, if you enjoy my videos and want to see more, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and my Tumblr and Goodreads links are down below. And remember, books for the soul, cookies for the tummy. Bye guys!